What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big Johnny G for Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. How's it going, everyone? Thank you very much for joining me. I'm your buddy Big Johnny G for Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. And, we do a video every day of the week. Every Monday, we do a Midday Monologue Monday. But every day, there's some video. And some days, we do two. Why do we do so many videos? Two reasons. One, it's fun as all hell to make and edit videos. Two, it's easy as all hell to make videos. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. They're just pandering for some attention. All right, now what I'm here to do today, I've been asked this several times over the years, and I've addressed it each time individually, and that's a combination of what to do with bad players, and how to deal with them, and disruptive players. What's going on? How do you handle it? Well, traditionally, most of my players are my real-life circle of friends. So in most cases, if they have a problem with me or I have a problem with them, it's very easy to just have a nice passive conversation about it. That's my preferred. Even when I'm not playing with, my personal circle of friends and I'm reaching out and letting new people join the group at the table, you still have to, afford everyone the same respect. I mean, let's just start with that right there. Now, I understand that things happen in the group because we're people, right? So things are going to happen. One thing I think that really needs to be addressed is group communication. I honestly think that the best way to get ahead of anything bad between you and your players is to have group communication. Do that through some sort of chat group, messaging group, where you can, set things up and talk to each other about the game, about the schedule. I like to keep a pretty tight schedule. I mean, I'm not a soup and artsy about it, but, we like to know what's going on. It's when you're dealing with teams, then you can't deal with chaotic individuals, right? So you keep a group chat going, and you keep in contact about what's going on with the schedule. I mean, you think this might sound like, why are you bothering even telling people this, John? No, really. Over the years, I've found that there's quite a few people that need to hear this. So, dealing with the type of player that's constantly, let's say, canceling. There's a few different things you want to deal with. Canceling is one of them. Now, we all understand things happen. Life is going on around us. Everything doesn't stop and say, hey, what's your schedule? Because I want to drop this on you. That doesn't happen. But at the same time, things shouldn't usually be constantly, dropping on someone always. When you have a player at the table that is constantly canceling, especially at the last minute, the night before game day or game day itself, how dare you? Game day itself, how dare you? If you're not bleeding or dying, someone you care about isn't bleeding or dying, the job isn't forcing you to come in, you don't got a funeral or a wedding to go to, I don't get why you're doing a last minute cancellation. Okay? It doesn't make sense. Everyone else canceled everything else to be there that day. You, as an individual, unless one of the above I just mentioned, you are not special. And to think so and to act that way definitely digs in at everyone else that made an effort to tell someone, I have plans that day. Sorry, let's make a rain check. Constant cancellation. It's not, when it happens all the time, when you get a player who for years tells you over and over again, like every month, every 2 weeks is telling you, they don't contact you until the very last minute, yay or nay, and then they always give you the same excuse. For years, they give you the same excuse. Oh, I forgot to hit send. I meant to send this on Monday. It's Friday. Every single time you forget? No, that's a problem player. That's the kind of person that's always late to something. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you what I think of someone that's constantly late when others around them aren't, their teammates aren't. There's more than enough psychologists that have printed papers about, the problems with people that are always late. So go look at that yourself and listen to what professionals say about it. But trust me, there's a problem with those individuals. Now, when you're canceling, you should definitely give a reason. You have to give a reason. You can't just at the last minute get in the group thread, the group chat, and say, sorry, can't make it, see you next game. No. Everyone else here made plans to be there that day. Everyone else here told someone at some point, sometime before a game day, sorry, I have plans that day. No, you don't get to just say nothing. There has to be an excuse. In my experience, the only time players won't give you an excuse and just say they can't make it at the last minute is because they know that if they told you, the game master, the DM, and the other players at the table what that reason was, you would all call them out on the bullshit. You would. And that's why they don't tell you. That's why they'll just say, oh, sorry, something came up. Well, listen here, Marsha Brady. Okay, that doesn't cut it. You got to tell us. Okay, you got to tell us what the hell is so important that everyone else kept the day free, but you can't. Okay, so constant cancellations are very bad. The worst thing, and I've heard this from several players over the years, some of them my closest and oldest friends too, which really irked me. And I'm sure they still talk about, I just got to get over it. But the worst thing you can tell your DM, GM, other players, especially if it's last minute, oh, sorry, I have something better to do. Really? Who the fuck raised you that you're going to tell someone, especially someone, it's bad enough if it's an acquaintance. This is a gaming table acquaintance. But it's even worse when you talk that way to friends. Really, who taught you that's okay to human like that is okay? Because they're wrong, and you need to go back to them and ask them to reteach you how to be a human. You don't say shit like that. Now, another problem you have as players is constant arguing. And I've had this at the table. Players that no matter what I say as their DM, no matter how I want to make a ruling, no matter what scene I want to play out, they want to argue about it. They want to argue the rules. They want to argue physics. They want to argue their personal opinions on it. Shut up! Just shut the hell up. Yes, you do get to share your mind with the DM and the other players. Once. After that, you gotta let it go, man. You just gotta drop that shit. Because the DM will tell you what the DM has to say. They agree with you, they disagree with you, something in the middle. But whatever the hell he or she says, shut your damn mouth. Because now you're starting to take the fun away from the table. I had one player who used to come from a couple of states away to play. And after like 4 or 5 games, I couldn't stand him anymore because all he did. I run 6 to 8 hour game sessions. And all this schnook did was argue everything I said. Goodbye. Why the hell am I putting up with you? Why am I allowing the other players at the table to have to put up with that shit? These are the things that really bother dungeon masters. Because we go out, okay, a good dungeon master. I've not always been a good dungeon master, especially in my younger days. Looking back at it, I could have been a pretty lazy DM from time to time. But if your DM tries, if your DM spends the time, don't waste his or her time. If your DM spends the time for plotting stories, for creating NPCs, maybe for doing some of the most elaborate table builds your sorry ass is ever going to sit at a table and see, then you have to respect your DM and the other players. You have to respect their time. Stop wasting other people's time. No, the only wasted time is not if the game session has to end. The wasted time is what you bring to wasting time, to arguing, to constant cancellations, for the verbiage you choose to use. No. Now, on a last little note, I just want to say that although every dungeon master, game master, storyteller out there is different, and every player is different, and the reason they get kicked out of groups or the reason they leave groups is different, just remember, the biggest difference, did your dungeon master kick you out of the group? Or did you leave? If you left, there's always a chance that you can return. But if it got to the point where your dungeon master had to kick you out of the group, never inviting you back to his or her table, that's it. It's over. Forget them. Stop contacting them. Stop reaching out to them. It's over. You just have to end things with bad players. It's tough sometimes. But trust me, in my experience, there's always a lot more players out there looking for DMs than DMs looking for players. So if you're a DM and you got bad players at your group, you got to get rid of them because they're bringing it down for everyone else. You have resources. Go online. Facebook has some great D&D groups and group finders. DMs, we're always going to find players. Players are not always going to find DMs. So play well, play smart, don't start arguments. Communicate well with your DM and players. And treat them with respect. They're treating you with respect. Give them your time, because they're giving you their time. That's what you got to deal with players. Got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.